To discuss this further, Saviano Abreu joins me now live from Kyiv. He is the head of communications and spokesperson for the United Nations Humanitarian Office in Ukraine. So, Saviano, good to see you. To what extent has this collapse worsened the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine? What are the possible implications of the destruction of this dam on the humanitarian crisis?
Jafar, I think the actual extension of this disaster is yet to be seen. It's impossible for us now to calculate the extension of it because, as you could see in the images, a huge part of the Kherson Oblast is completely flooded. So it's yet to be seen. But what we know is that it's worsening the situation of thousands of people that were already under a very difficult situation. Kherson has been under control of Russia for a long time. They have been facing dire humanitarian needs because of the war, because of the hostilities. Since Ukraine retook Kherson last year in November, the situation became much worse. The attacks are constant. The city and the region is being attacked every single day with huge humanitarian consequences. Food is a problem. Water is a problem. Education is a problem. Everything that we need as a human to survive is a challenge for people living in Kherson. So this disaster is just adding to a problem that was already there.
Saviano, how is the United Nations working on the ground when it comes to relief operations?
We have been operating in Kherson, but only in the parts that are under Ukrainian control. We don't have access, we don't have authorization from the Russian Federation to access the areas that they control. But we've been working there since November, since when Ukraine retook control. Since the disaster on 6th of June, 2 days ago, since the day one, you've been on the ground, we've been supporting people in all ways that we can. We've been providing food. We already reached more or less 7,000 people with food assistance since the disaster happened. We've been providing water. We've been providing cash assistance. More or less 3,500 people already received cash. People that are fleeing the areas flooded, we provide them cash for them to meet the immediate needs. We've been providing psychological support. We're supporting with evacuations. We're supporting with the places of accommodation, the transit centers where people are staying to accommodate the census, to provide supplies, hygiene supplies, everything that is needed for making their lives a bit easier, a bit dignifying a moment of difficulty.
And Saviano, what are some of the biggest challenges that United Nations and other aid organizations are facing at this point when it comes to bringing aid to the inundated region?
The biggest challenge is access, Jafar. We are facing now also access. Because of the flooding itself, it's not easy to operate in this area. We are trying to reach some towns that are completely flooded. So you can imagine the challenge that we can face. But it's mainly the difficulty that we have to reach the areas that are under Russian control, as we have been talking about it since the escalation of the war in February 2022. Since then, we could not cross the front line with supplies. We have been trying, we have been negotiating, we have been dialoguing, we have been sending notifications to the Russian Federation, but this didn't happen yet. We are now again trying because, as we know, a huge part of the flooding is affecting the areas that are under Russian control, and we are not able to be there to assist people that are in desperate need of assistance.
Saviano Abreu, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for talking to us here on TRT World. Really appreciate your taking out the time.